Hello, and welcome to the first video where we're going to start doing Go programming from scratch. This is still a part of the holiday boost. I realize the holiday boost has been all over the place. All of my boosts are. That's just the nature of trying to adapt to the people that are watching and participating in this stream. And overwhelmingly, my community right now has asked to cover Go from scratch. In other words, in fact, in Santis, I'll give them credit, has pretty much named my next book, which is, what did we say? I can't even remember the exact name now. I have to go look it up again. But the the name will be something along the lines of coding from the get go. And we are going to learn to program from scratch in Go, assuming you don't know anything about programming. And we'll talk about what those assumptions are and how to get going on everything. This hour, however, will be um, dedicated to setting up a Go programming environment. And I think you should learn Go, even if you know Java and JavaScript. I think Go would be a great tool for you to have on your belt for lots of reasons. Go is the primary language of cloud native, the world of enterprise software, maybe for Kubernetes and Docker and Podman and Helm and Terraform. They've all been written in Go. So knowing how to read the code is essential if you're going to be doing that professionally. And Go is a much more approachable language when it comes to programming because it's just so much easier than Java or C. Rob Pike, one of the inventors of Go, calls Go a kinder, gentler C. And from my personal experience, I've hundreds and hundreds of people that I've helped. Most of the people who learn Go as a first language generally prefer to pick up C or assembly as their second language, which I was not expecting. I was expecting that to not go that way. I've taught a lot of people Python is the first language and JavaScript is the first language, and I haven't taught that many people Go as the first language. So this will be exciting for me as well because it will give me a lot more data points and help us establish whether Go could be potentially a viable replacement to AP Computer Science and Java, which I think it could be. I really think it could be. It's got all the great things that you want from a first language that is not too easy. Python, I think, is too easy, and therefore you don't learn strict typing. You don't learn anonymous functions. You don't learn, first class function calls. There's a lot of things you don't understand pointers at all. So Go is kind of the perfect, Goldilocks language for first languages, in my opinion. And I don't have a lot of data to back that up. There's really no way to do that except for to try it. So here you are being my guinea pigs. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and get started setting it up and look at what it takes. Now, for the most part, obviously I'm going to use the terminal. If you don't know already, I'm doing another book called Terminal Velocity, which covers all of this stuff about getting fast and good in the terminal. I still think you should learn it. I still think programming Go from the terminal is the best way to do it. But this assumption, the book itself and this video series right here, makes no assumptions about how you're going to write the code. We're going to jump right into Hello World. And yes, we're going to do Hello World because reasons. Probably we'll call it Hello Friend instead. And so we're going to do, how do I install Go? Where do I get it? How do I set it up? That's what the next hour is about. I am going to cover 2 or 3 ways for you to get Go based on what you want to do. So if the first thing that we want to talk about is how do you get a command line with Go. So this is actually really easy. If you're on a Mac, it's brew install Go. I think it might be Golang actually. So this is brew install. Okay, so we're at Go 1.234. Something to know about Go is that once you install an older version of it, you can use Go itself to grab the new one. And so let's go do that. Let's go say, so if you're on a Windows machine, your Windows or WSL, it's a lot easier to do that. There's a couple good versions. Yeah, agreed. So I'm gonna take you onto Linux as well. Listening for cloud connections. Oh, whoops! I think this machine might be off right now. Anyway, if you're on a machine that's got Linux, my Linux machine is off right now. I didn't check it. Um, and so we're gonna yeah, let's we're gonna go do this next. So if you are on a machine, a Linux or Unix machine, it would just be sudo apt install go. I think it might be golang, but you can do that. If you want to just install it onto Windows without using any of that other stuff, I'm pretty sure. Let me go check. I have it in here. I'm pretty sure it's winget install go. Let me just show you. So pause the video and do what you have to do to get it on here. So here's the installer. So brew, it's brew install golang or go. Windows it's winget. If it's git bash, or if it's Windows or git bash, you can do winget install golang.go. That will install onto your host OS if you're Windows. You can do sudo apt get install live go for Golang if you're on WSL2. If you're on WSL2, or you're any apt based Linux, which you should probably already know about if you're going to get there. You decide which one you need to do. You can do Go development on Windows natively. A lot of people do, and they do not use WSL and they do not use a terminal. So if that describes you, you want to do the install this way. You can always go out and download the installer from the website and do it that way, but I strongly encourage people to use the package managers. They are just easier. They're just a lot easier to use. If you don't know how to use a package manager, you probably want to look into that stuff before you start getting into coding really well. That stuff is, I cover that stuff in another book called Terminal Velocity, which is all terminal based. So that's all we're going to say about that. And we're going to move forward. Go do a whole world directly. No, I have to explain this. My biggest pet peeve, they're saying, no, we should just write hello world. I'm like, nope, not doing that. The reason I'm not doing that is because I hate books that don't tell me how to get the language to install it. Okay, it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. I hate that. I've had that so many languages. Okay, what editor are you going to use? I'm going to be using Vim, specifically NeoVim, using Vimgo. And if you want to use something else, that's fine. It's not really within the scope of this book. I did want to show you one other thing that you could do and get set up, and I'm going to go ahead and do this. A lot of you are going to want to do this. I don't like it, but you can use it. Okay, we're going to actually, I know someone's going to give me a hard time. We're going to use VS Code. So you can just put VS Code. I think VS Code is already, did I have it already installed on here? Yeah. So you go and download Visual Studio Code. It's very popular. There's VS Codium if you prefer. I don't care. If you want to do with Emacs, that's fine too. But here's the thing. Okay, so we have VS Code installed on the computer, and we're going to be using Git and GitHub to save our source code, which I am going to be doing. And so we're not going to cover directly how to set up Git and GitHub for that. You have to do that in a different video. And terminal velocity, I cover that. So I'm assuming you have a GitHub account. I'm assuming you know how to do Git reasonably well, and that you've already authenticated on your command line. Okay, so, but if you prefer, you can do this. So the first step besides that, we're going to go ahead and close Visual Studio Code. I use VS Code for Go development. I really want to use Sublime for LSP formatting. Yeah, you can do whichever one you want. If you do use VS Code, just a note, make sure that you install the Go plugins. In fact, let me go call those up. Let me call it up again and see if I can remember what they are. I haven't done this in forever. So extensions, let's go do, actually, you know what? Let's not do that. I know if you start working on Go code, it will actually prompt you. Let me show you. So let's back up a little bit. So, okay, let's make a new repo. So I'm not covering this, but you need to find a directory to put this in. Now, hopefully, if I were you, I would make a directory called repos in your home directory. And then inside of repos, I cover this in terminal velocity, but github.com. I would suggest you make a directory structure that matches the URLs so that you don't have naming conflicts, which I have had in the past. So you see, I'm going to cd into github.com. You can do that from the command line if you want instead. I mean, from the web browser or whatever, your Explorer. And then my account, here it is. All right, so we got all this stuff here, and you need to create yourself a repo that has the stuff that you want to do here. Now, you can make this repo, you can name it Go Coding, you can name it Lab, you can name it whatever you want. In my case, I'm going to call it, what should we call it? GH repo create clone private, and let's call it get go. Let's see, coding from the get go. How about that? And it's a big old long one. You probably want to call yours lab. If you want to put all of your stuff in a single repo, like a lab repo, which I talk about in terminal velocity, you can consider that. There are really two major repos I think everybody should have: a dot files repo of some kind and a lab repo where you can put your little experiments and document them as you want. Some people prefer to do that in, atomic individual repos. That's up to you. In this particular case, because I'm making a video and I want it to show up in the name, I'm going to go ahead and make a repo like that. And so now I've got this repo to go into that that I actually will make public the more stuff that we put in here as we go through this. So if you can see what I've done. Something that is in the preface of my book, it talks about how you're making your own textbook here. Okay. I do have a book and I do plan on having examples and all the solutions and everything in there, but it's really, really important that right from the beginning that you start writing your own book. In fact, I ran a school for, almost 15 years, and I've never had a book because I've never needed a book, because everybody who's there is writing their own book, and it's much more palatable. It's much more visceral, mnemonic and memorable, whatever you want to say. It's just easier for you to write your own book. Because then you can always go back and you can add your own notes wherever you want to, and you're not like dog leafing a paper book that you're not going to have with you. You can pull it up wherever you are. So this is the book right now. I still will outline the things that you should do, but it'd be more about how to do them. I mean, more about this is what you should do and stuff, and then it'll kind of send you on your way. Just a reminder, we're going to be covering like really silly things from scratch. So if you're here because you want to learn how to get good as a hacker or as a sysd, this is the wrong place. And I belabored that point pretty heavily with my community because I, part of me thinks that you shouldn't learn Go unless it's to solve an actual problem. And to learn it, we're kind of foregoing that for a while to do something silly that you'll remember, which, is hard for me because I'm a very practical person. I think you should use it for actual things. And I probably still will write another book called Go for Sysdes and Hackers, generating malware in Go, which is really great for that. So it does. Okay. So here we go. So we're in this directory. You can see where it is. I'll go to my screen and we're ready to start coding. But this is what I wanted to show you. So first of all, okay, so my repo hasn't been committed yet. I need to put something simple in here. So you might not need to do this, but I do branch-m main to change the name. I'm going to actually add a README file. And what I wanted to show you is I can actually edit the file from right here in VS Code with code space dot. Do you trust? Wait, actually, I don't want to do that yet. Not yet. Just a second. I want to write my first Go code here. And then you'll see what happens with VS Code. So let's actually just write the README file first. Say, what do we want to say? We say learning. What is it? Get code. Troll is Hello World in episode 2. Yes. Hello World. No, we're gonna say coding from the get-go, and we'll just put a thing here: get add dot get commit add readme get push dash u origin main. We're not covering that in here. That's the terminal velocity thing. and push. So that will push it up. Where I did that. So gh repo view dash dash web will open my web browser up to that page. And here we are. So we're ready to write a code here. Now I want to show you a couple of cool things you can do here. The first thing is from this actual page, you can push dot and it will open up VS Code in your web browser. Some of you may not know that. All right. So the reason I'm showing you that is because if you want to work on your development and you don't have a computer or you're using a school computer or something, you can do it on GitHub. Now, obviously, it's better to have your own laptop with you, but you can do it here. And you can come in here and you could say, I want to open up a new file. And actually, let's just say main.go. We'll make a main.go file here and hit enter. And it didn't have anything in here, so package main, we'll get into this a little bit later. But you can go ahead and see how it's got the X up here. That means it hasn't been saved. You can change your automatic settings here to there's one that will auto save. So let's go search for us. It's been a while since I used VS Code, but let's try it. Auto save. So control auto save of editors that have unsaved changes. On focus change, on window change. I guess on focus change. All right. So anyway, yeah, so it will actually save it and it will, when you go back and forth, you should be able to have it saved. Okay. So since it did save it, now when I come back here, I need to do git pull. Don't forget that to get the latest. It doesn't look like it saved it. I don't use it from the terminal. Like I don't do this very much. So let's see what happens. Oh, right here. I forgot. Here we go. So it's not saving it. So right here, it's like, it has something to be saved. Let's say, add main.go, commit and push. So again, you may not want to do this. I just want to show you that you can do it. Okay. And now if I do git pull, that will pull down the latest library and I have my main.go file here and I can do that. Now, in addition to that, so let's go ahead and close this. In addition to this, if you have VS Code on your computer, you can just do code space dot, and it will open up VS Code in the context of this project. And so it'll open up on your local computer if you've installed it, and it will put it there. And then you have to say, do you trust the authors of this folder? Yes, I trust the authors. Trust the files in the parent folder? Yes. Okay, and it's giving you a bunch of stuff. You can do Copilot, all these other crazy things that people love. I don't really like any of those things, but you can use those if you want. And here we have the welcome. I bet it shows you about how to read about it, how to get around. The only other thing about VS Code you probably need to know is how to open the terminal, which is command backtick. Is it control backtick? Oh, there we go. So for it's control backtick on a Mac. I don't know what it is. Probably control backtick on Windows as well. That opens up a terminal, and you're probably going to want to do that a lot. Okay, that does open up a terminal on your local computer. I am kind of curious what that does on GitHub, so I'm going to go ahead and spend some time trying that out right now. We can close the welcome. We don't need that. So, if I make a change here, I can say, and okay, this is what I wanted to show you. So it says here, do you want to install the recommended Go extension from Go at Google? Say, yes, I would, please. Okay, and then it's going to put in the extensions for you. Go tools, yes, get all the tools. Of course, I already have these already, but it's putting them in a special place that it likes apparently. So it's installing GitHub, and this actually does take quite a while to do, but we're going to sit through it and wait. Actually, while it's doing that, why don't we go back to the web page and test the GitHub repo, github.com/rbxrob. This is mine. You can come on over here and this is my books, by the way. If you want to go see the books that are over there, and they're perpetually being dealt with, but if you want to come check it out, you can. Yeah, so if we go into the thing that I just saved, So if you click on if you click on my follow icon, it should be on there. Let me go see. Yeah, there we go. No, that's not me. Your profile. All right, here we go. Where is it? Where's my last commit? Where is it? Got tempo show more activity. 2 pull requests, 10 repositories, bonsai persistence. Huh. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it. I don't want to have to type it all over here. Wait, what was it? Coding. Oh, I made it. Did I make it private? Coding from the get go. You're right. Yeah. Okay. So here it is. All right. So here it is. All right. So now we're gonna push. Uh, hello world is episode 3. Are you talking about Mr. Robot? Yeah. So we're gonna do dot again, but I want to try something. I want to see if the terminal can be open from here. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. So control backtick. Oh my gosh. You can create it. Let's see. You can create a terminal by continuing in an environment that can run code. Your working changes will come to you after you turn on cloud changes. Spin up a fully configured development environment for this repository in the cloud using code spaces. Code spaces you have to pay for, so that will be a no. Clone this repo to your local machine in VS Code desktop. Okay, so that's what I was expecting. You can't use the terminal to run your program here without code spaces, which I'm pretty sure they're going to say I have to pay for. Now, to be fair, I'm already paying for code spaces. Usage paid for by blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not doing that. No. I have a pro account with GitHub, but I don't want to pay money just to run stuff that I can run on my local machine. So, yeah. Anyway, that I'm glad we went through that though, because the point of this hour is to get set up and get going. Go for VS Code version whatever. Go telemetry latest on telemetry. Uploading is off by default. Good. All tools are successfully installed in Go. Okay, so we can close this. And I think it's really cool about this is it will show you all kinds of like errors while they're happening. I'm gonna zoom in if I remember right. There we go. I can zoom in a little bit. And give you guys some things. I'm obviously I'm gonna spend most of the time on the terminal. I know that some of you want to use this, particularly your absolute beginners, are not going to be comfortable editing in the terminal yet. So if you're not, everything in the book and in these videos you can do this way. If you want to do it this way. Okay. So, if you want to take the time to learn terminal, that was a great time, but you don't have to do that. All right. So you see here, you see this is what I'm going to show you. See the circle up here? I have had so many beginners lose their work because they don't set up auto, save. And this means that you're not being saved. So what you want to do is go down here and you click on, it looks like they changed it. Backup and sync settings. Yeah, I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is anymore. It looks like they moved it. Yeah, that's not it. And how do I get rid of it now? I do not like GUI interfaces. Please sign in and back up your sync across devices. Did they make that a part of VS Code now? Finally? You used to have to use a third-party thing to synchronize your settings. Well, okay. I'm learning stuff about VS Code, but I don't know how to get out. People complain about BI not being able to exit. I can't. How do I get the thing off the screen? I'll just close VS Code. Okay. Is it escape? Seriously? Is it actually escape? All right, we'll try it again. I am not a GUI guy, people. I don't, unless you're Go web developing, I don't think it's a good idea. I think you should use a terminal. There, I said it. Okay. Anyway, I want to try that again. Okay, backup and sync, check for updates. No. Themes. Oh, you can change your theme. This is my most... When I'm dealing with, particularly with young people, their favorite thing they like about VS Code is the themes. We'll lose like 25 minutes just on the themes, right? So you can actually download themes. I used to be a huge Solarized Dark fan. I actually like this. In fact, one Christmas I wrote a whole bunch of I wrote a whole bunch of code over Christmas, and I had this theme. How's that for a theme? How's that for a Christmas? Should I do red the whole day? It's actually really fun. I have a lot of good memories of having this theme. This like really really red theme. Isn't that insane? The bear theme has a ton of variants that are really nice. Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of themes. You can actually install your favorite theme. My favorite terminal theme is Groovebox Media Material. Uh, and here I am already getting distracted by themes. Oh, I'm such a bad. You know what? Solarized Dark brings back so many memories from the old days. My This was my colors of my company when I first started. I like the bloody theme. I do like the red one. It's like it's jolly. To me it's jolly. It's like very festive. Not to mention it's like going to be totally if I put that red theme on, it's like people on YouTube are not going to be able to look away. It's like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on with this guy?" Fallout Pip Boy theme obviously. Is there a Fallout Pip Boy theme? Okay, we got to find it. We have to find it. It's seriously, it's like okay to do this. Impossible. It's not actually. Yeah. I'm not going to do it for I promise I won't do this. Okay, this is a good time for you to me to show you how to go. Look, I do this is the first time I've opened VS Code and done anything significant in 5 years. So please forgive me. Okay? Please forgive me because I have no idea what I'm doing. So here's the rest of the Go stuff. You can go add those. You got your AI programming Vim emulation. No. Vim emulations doesn't have filter commands, so what's the point? Anyway, extensions search for Fallout. Okay. We're going to search for Fallout. I want to see this. There's a what? There's a Fallout Pip-Boy theme? Oh my gosh. It almost looks like somebody wants to use the terminal or something. Yeah. Wait. Oh god. How come it went away? I want it back. I want it back. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I'm gonna go get it again. Am I taking way too much time? Okay, here we go. Wow. Well, look at how pretty. That's perfect now. Wow, look how pretty this is. Ooh. Do you guys want me to use the green theme for my terminal too? Instead of Groupbox? I can totally do this. I can do whatever you guys want. I should make it so that you guys can change my theme. That's the thing that Twitch streamers do. And so many people hate it though. Because they're like, I can't read a thing. All right. Just use the defaults of the colors match. Yeah. I'm not even using this theme. So the reason I got distracted is because I was trying to show you to get rid of this circle here. You see the circle up there? That means you're not getting auto saved. The only input I have for you on VS Code, there's 3 pieces of input for you. Okay? So listen up. Put them in your notes. Number 1, make sure you know how to autosave. I've seen people totally ruined by this. Number 2, make sure that you know how to save to GitHub. It's actually built in. It's right here. You just click on this and oops, I'm showing balloons because yeah. So you can actually go here, you type your thing and it auto pushes to GitHub. When I was working with people who were just starting out, this is much easier to teach a beginner than the command line for Git. It's the same thing. It hides the same thing from you. So you make changes, you put your little comment in there, and you click save, and everything's good, and it's all synchronized, and it just works. So make sure you know how to Git push. Make sure you know how to auto save. Make sure you know how to Git push. And the third thing would just be knowing how to open it from the command line. So if you are on the command line and you want to open it from any place, you just put code space dot, and that will open it up where you're at. So if you ever get lost, you can open it. You know what's really cool about that is that will actually work even if you are in here. Let me show you something really cool. So like if you know how to get around from the command line and you want to go someplace else, lab sample 2, I guess, you can actually do this. You can do code dot, and it will actually update the current active syntax, and it will move it into that other location. If you do, it will open it there. If you do, I think it's code dash, what is it? I forget which one it is. I think it's dash R. Let me see. I'm trying to look for the command. There's a command reuse. There it is. The R. All right. So if you do this, if you do code dash R dot, it will reuse the current window and it'll reload that to be in it. Now it's doing this because the other one didn't save. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. So that reset and opened to the new location, right? So there was no project here or anything. So then I can do it again, and I can do go cd dot dot slash, and I can go into code. What is it? Coding from the get-go, and I can do code dash R dot, and that'll reset the syntax to the other one and remember where it was and everything. So, it even restored my history. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So anyway, this is all you're going to get from me on VS Code. You see here, it says that it doesn't have one saved, right? So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to say some small change, and I'm going to click on commit, and that's going to push it. Say, do I want to push it? Yes. Stage commits is a different thing. It's an intermediate step. You almost always want to say yes to that, but it'll give you all your stuff here. And, you can always go out to GitHub. I think there's actually a thing that will take you to the GitHub of this page if you want to go see it that way. But, that is the end of my VS Code introduction to you. I am no longer going to be using VS Code, but no shame using VS Code to get started if that's your first thing. There are professionals who swear by VS Code. They use it all the time for Go development and every other kind of development you can imagine. Don't let anybody else tell you you can't use it. I might poke fun of it and make jokes and things, but deep down, you do what you want to do, and whatever comes easier for you. And there's a guy who gave a person that I mentored $100,000 starting salary, and in his starting interview, during the interview, the person used VS Code and apologized to the guy that he was interviewing because he used VS Code for Go programming, and the guy being interviewed who got the job was using Vim from the command line. So, there's a certain mystique with using the terminal, but there's certainly no requirement that you use the terminal to do any development whatsoever. But that said, that's all I'm going to say, because I am a terminal user, always have been. I still think it's better, and you can make your own decision. Okay. Make sure you turn on autosave, which I forgot to do. So let's go here. Programs, settings, autosave. Autosave delay, after delay, autosave, workspace files, controls autosave of editors of having unset changes. After delay, on focus change. After delay. It looks like they changed it. It used to be there was just a setting, actually. Looks like they got rid of the setting. No, there it is. Never mind. I take it back. This is such an important setting. God, they didn't change it. That makes me happy. All right, so guys, this is where it is. It's under right here. This is it. It's a menu. It's a menu. Unresolved issues and couldn't handle its extensions. Yes. VS Codium. A lot of people like that. VS Code Vim. So I spam it all the time. Yes. The top of the screen is cut off. Oh, okay. It's the file menu. So it's file menu. Go to the file menu and find the autosave thing and turn that on. Okay. That will set you up an autosave for now. There are a lot of advantages of VS Code over other things. For example, README. So here's kind of a cool advantage. You can have, so this is a markdown file, and you can actually preview the markdown right here while you're taking your notes. So if that's the kind of thing you want to see, you can do that. You can say, first item, second, and we haven't learned, markdown yet. We learned that in terminal velocity. So I kind of expect you to know markdown already, to take your own notes, to write your own book, either in ASCII doc or in, markdown. So you should definitely know markdown, but if you want to go the extra mile, you can learn ASCII doc and write your own books and stuff. That's all covered in terminal velocity. I am not covering that at all right now. If you do not know markdown and you proceed, make sure you allocate time to learn markdown so you can take your own notes, because how else are you going to write about it? If you don't want to write it in markdown, you want to write regular text, that's also fine. But here's why it's better to do this, because then you can do this, right? And you can actually take your little note here. And by the way, if you use ASCII doc for this, you can include your source code in your notes. It's kind of cool. I'll do a whole thing on that. So for right here, you can just say package main. And you see how it kind of does the thing, right? So import FMT. We're gonna cover this in just a second. So, oops, it auto added a stupid thing. I hate it when it does that. Yeah, we're doing the first exercise already, but hello world. All right, so you can see how it kind of syntax highlights for you. You can get the preview of it. And in Obsidian, you can, yeah, there's Obsidian and other things have integrations. You can run the code blocks if you want to. You don't need to do that here at all, though. So anyway, this is also showing you if you have problems. So like if you forget a thing, and well, so far it's not showing me the problems. Oh, it's because it's marked down. Never mind. Derp. Anyway, I was just showing you the previewing. If you oh, look, okay, it didn't autosave. What's going on there? Oh, look at that. Autosave. I have to turn autosave on. Okay. I turned autosave. Just don't forget autosave. Don't forget autosave, my friends. All right, so we close this. Let's go back over here. Let's go open main.go. So if you write something wrong in here, you should start to see errors and stuff. FMT. Okay, so it's telling you what the error is. And if you hover over it, it tells you what the problem is and how to fix it. You can deformat and save. Yes, you sure can. And so there are a lot of people who think that using a full blown, even if lightweight IDE like this is the way to go. There's a better one is I've heard, I have never used it once, is GoLand, but you have to pay. And so a lot of people like the idea of like all the help that they're getting and the you know the code spaces integration and all of that. And if that's your thing, that's cool. That's fine. It's totally fine. I there's no problem there. But I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so. GoLand is almost too powerful. It changes all the imports at the top depending on whether you're using it. That I think it needs to do that. Any good editor will do that. Does this not do that? If this doesn't do that, I'm going to be very sad. One of the hardest things to maintain and Go is all the imported packages because they have to be there. And we're going to do hello world again. I promise we'll explain the whole thing in just a sec. So now when I save this, I'm trying to use VI to save, and it's not working because I don't have Vim bindings on here. This is kind of, yeah, there we go. Okay, thank God. So it does pull it in. Any editor you use, if it doesn't automatically update your imports, you'll want to shoot yourself in the head. I mean, it'll be like crazy. So you definitely want the imports to be automatically imported when they're used. When you stop using them, when you save, it gets rid of them. So those are some things to consider in your IDE. At the end of the day, there's really only 4 main IDEs: Vim or NeoVim, which I count as one. VS Code, GoLand, and Emacs. And I've never met a single Emacs programmer who programs in Go. I know they probably exist. I've never met one. So those are your options, and you can make that decision. And at that point, we're pretty much done. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about, we've got another 10 or 20 minutes to talk. And I want to show you how to start a project. Okay, so we already know how to get to the terminal, right? There are certain things in Go that you have to do from the terminal. So whether you're doing it from VS Code or you're doing it from another terminal separately, that's the thing. I think you can actually automate these things to build on their own. In fact, I think there's probably something under here that does this. Okay, so there's your tools. I think you could probably have it set as Go Play. There's probably some tools to do this that I know there are because I used to have them, but that will automatically build your code anytime you make a change. And you can decide how many. I'm not going to go down the plugin path with you. If you want to go do those things, you can. But we do, I'll stay over here since we're already here. But let's go ahead and do the first commands for initializing your directory structure. So, a lot of books that are teaching you Go will not have you do what I'm going to have you do, but I think it will make it easier for you. What we're going to do is we're going to immediately begin with something called a Go module. It's completely possible to write Go without using modules at all, but it's very unlikely that in any professional capacity or any capacity where it mattered, you would ever do this. So I think you should learn to code to start by starting up a thing first. Oh, look, let's always update. Oh boy, it's doing all kinds of things. Is it updated already? Go PLS. That's the language server in case you don't know. No problems have been detected in your workspace. Debug console. I lost my thing though. Where am I? I want my console again. Where did my console go? All right, there we go. I did my control backtick and it worked again. All right, so here we are. We're back in our command line. And so the first command you should do is go mod init. And this just initializes a new module, creates a go.mod file, and we are now going to give it a name. Now, this gets interesting, right? Because we'll get into Go modules much later. But right now, just you can use any name, but what I would do is I would use the same name as your Git repo. Yes, but you don't have to do that. So in this case, we would say github.com revxrob / coding from the get go. And as a general rule, you should just always do this. In fact, unless you're doing some really black hat stuff you don't want anybody to ever see, then, you would always put the name of your GitHub repo, private or otherwise, in your go mod init statement, right? It is, I do want to say for the black hats out there and the cybersecurity people that if you prefer to not do this, you can put whatever you want here. And if you do that, I would suggest sticking with a common domain name within your own private structure. But the thing to take away from this is that Go itself has not added an additional ecosystem for registering packages and reusing code the same way Node has done, or Perl with CPAN, or even Python. All of these other languages have these extensive, massive repositories of code where you can use them. And one of the smartest things that Go did is they decided to reuse the existing systems of the world, specifically any of the Git systems or SVN, any of the existing source management tools that exist, thereby allowing any Git repo to work. Any place that you can put a Git repo, any address that resolves on your network, as long as it's pointing to a Git repo. It doesn't even have to be a website. It can just be available over SSH or whatever, can be used as a module. Okay. That's all I'm going to say about that. We're going to revisit that later, but it's important that you get this type. There are a couple of configurations that you're going to want to add to your terminal, which I'm going to show you right away, that are going to speed up your development quite a bit. And we're going to go ahead and do that right now after we do this. So let's do Go. I have a few minutes left. So let's do Go mod tidy. So Go mod tidy is going to bring in any of your dependencies. It's a good habit to get into, to do Go mod tidy anytime you change a dependency on something. Right now, you don't have any dependencies, but you will. And when you do, you definitely want to do that. Otherwise, you're unnecessarily going to be porting around a bunch of code that'll get pulled down and get unused without Go mod tidy. I don't know why they don't do that automatically. I think it would have been nice, but they don't do that. So, okay, so based on that, there are a couple of other things to keep in mind. So if you want to look at your environment variables for Go, and we're not covering what environment variables are right now. We will cover variables later, but what these Go environment variables they're like settings for Go to tell it what to do, right? And you can change the settings. That's what a variable is. But if you go env and you hit enter, you're going to see a bunch of flags, a bunch of settings, with the equal sign. And these are all called environment variables. And whether you're on Windows or Mac or WSL, it'll be the same. Um, uh, speed up what? Yeah, you don't know. We're going to do Hello World. This hour has just been setting up Go. That's the only thing this hour is about. Okay, so there's a couple of settings here that you might want to look at. And this is where we get a chicken and the egg situation, right? Because to tell you the truth, you kind of need to know how to configure your shell before you can code in Go. And that whether it be Windows or Mac or Unix or Linux, if you don't know how to configure your system, you're going to have a hard time writing Go code. It's like this whole chicken and the egg thing, but you don't know how to code yet, so you may not have even known what a variable was. And now I'm telling you, you got to set a variable before you can learn about what a variable is, right? So I understand that this is frustrating, but we'll see if we can get through it. So here are the different things here. So it tells you all the different things you got going on. And there's a couple of settings here that I'm just going to mention before we leave. And it tells you the Go mod, where your Go work is, what it's getting compiled with and stuff. But there are some important ones that you probably don't need to mess with as a beginner, but I just want to mention them. You're downvoting Bob ready to go. Are you going to downvote me? I hate you. All right. So if we go to, where is Go private? I don't see it. Do you guys see it? This is interesting. This version in VS Code is totally different than the one that's on my command line. It's totally different, you guys. Yeah. Let me show you. That's cool. I didn't know that. All right, so let me go env here. So see here, it says it has the Go path, right? .local go. And let's see what else we have. I'm looking for local. It seems it is a virtual environment for Go. Yeah, that's new. It didn't used to do that. So I'm glad I did that. Yeah, I think it is making a virtual environment, but I'm not sure. Are there issues with the order or sequence of those variables? No. No, these are just getting dumped out. The order doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm well, let me, okay, pardon me for a second while I show you my, here we go. Yeah. No proxy. Go proxy direct. env. Wait. Go env. Go proxy. Direct. Okay. Was that set and I didn't see it? That's the one I wanted you guys to see. Okay. So what that does is... Oh, it's there. There it is. Okay. It is there. All right. Let me go back on the other one and see. So is Go proxy here too? Okay. I set this one by default. I don't think you can set it. Can you set it by going here and just clicking on a thing? You can. Well, look at that. Look at that, you guys. Look at that. Yeah, you can click on this and say, I want to make a new one. Look at this. This is fun. Look at you. Look at, you can just click on it and go do it. Go no proxy. They got rid of Go proxy. Go proxy direct. Okay, there it is. If Go proxy is not direct, go change it to direct. All right, so it looks like mine is picking up my environment after all. I was just having a hard time seeing. None of these tools were there when I used Go in the VS Code before. So we need more places with env. Yeah. So this is kind of cool because if you're a beginner and you don't know what variables are, you just know to go change the setting, right? I'm going to go change my setting. So just change that one to direct And that'll probably wrap up this video. What does it do? Okay, so let me just talk to you about that. What that setting does really quick. Um, I was searching for proxy, so you can just do go no proxy as well. If you set go no proxy to true or whatever, it actually you can set go no proxy to a specific domain. So like if you have, I mean, there's so many of these things we could spend all day talking about all the settings you can have, but what I need to just tell you is about how this works, right? So, um, your go proxy is set to proxy golang.direct. Yeah, go proxy equals proxy golang. All right, so I would change it to, okay. Let me tell you what it does. All right, so the by yeah, show all the Go environment variables. Yes. Okay. So what it by default, because Go didn't want to depend on, just GitHub being up or anything. The Google and the Golang Foundation. Go is obviously it's a Google controlled project that is 100% open source. This is a problem for a lot of people, but it's actually usually a really great thing because enterprises tend to adopt things that have that level of support, whether you like it or not. I'm just telling you that that's the way it is. Even though the people that invented it also invented Unicode and Unix. So, it's a good thing. Bottom line, they needed to have a way to make it so that people could get to this code that's being sourced out there, but they didn't want to do that registry, that big old registry. You put all the stuff in, right? So what they made is they made these proxy servers, and they're controversial because yes, they are copies. They contain copies of the full package Go modules that you're depending on, and they get downloaded and they go through there and stuff. But the reason you don't want it is because when you're doing development right now, the main reason you don't want it is because it takes too much time to propagate. A lot of times you'll you won't get this problem right away because we're not going to use modules right away. But eventually you're going to start to want to turn around changes faster, and you're not going to see your changes because they have to be proxied to the caching servers and they have to do all this thing. So even though it might take you longer if you set direct, because it has to go straight to the source, whether it's GitHub or SourceHub or whatever, it still has to go straight there and get it. And you're guaranteed to always get the latest. If you do anything internally on a VPN, like you're working, for a company or something, there's a strong possibility you're going to need to use direct as well. If you're hosting anything on internal servers, or if you're doing worse, if you're using inner source, which is a whole model of, using enterprise cloud without enterprise cloud, which is a total video by itself. By the way, I regularly code Go at work using these two different models and have hit a number of problems with each of those and worked around them. And I'm just telling you in advance before we wrap up the video that if you're here this long and you want to talk about any of those specifics about how your development environment is set up to work, maybe somebody's asking, why are we not doing this in a container? And actually, that's a good thing to do right as we wrap up. We only have 7 minutes left. If you want to just play around with Go and you don't want to mess with anything else and you know how to use containers, you can just spin up a Go container and start coding like right now. And let me show you how to do that. Okay, so that's the last option that I want to show. So I'm going to use Podman. If you want, you guys already know how to mount directories and stuff if you know these kinds of things. But I'm not going to mount anything because I don't want that, right? So I'm just going to do podman, run it and remove it afterwards. And we're going to run a Golang. I think it's actually called Golang. We're just going to run a podman container. Is it Go? It might be Golang.go. Let me go see. I want to see if I have a Golang commit. What is it? What is the container? You guys know? I thought it was Golang. It might have to be. I'm gonna have to do the Docker IO on it. I think I might have to do Docker IO because it's Podman. Yeah. I think I have to do Docker IO. Is it Golang-go? I think I have to do. I think I have to do this. I don't know. Golang Docker container. Let me go look it up really quick. Sorry guys for missing this. Hub.docker, there it is. Hub.docker.com. All right, so hub.docker.com underscore. Is it going.go? Winget. No, I'm talking about running a podman thing. This is driving me nuts. This is the wrong. My Dave is not running. Oh, oh God, that's right. I rebooted. Sorry about that. Podman. Init. No. Was it start? No. What is it? I don't. I'm a Docker guy. I have been. I hate Docker, so I'm trying to use Podman and I'm sucking. Is it machine in it? It's Podman machine something, right? What is it? I don't remember. Mine's been running. This is a Podman thing. That's why I don't remember it. You have to do it on the Podman. It's in the message. Oh God. It is machine start. Yeah, there it is. I'm so dumb. I am totally dumb. Hi Ivan, how you doing? Yeah, I can't believe I missed that. Oh well. Hopefully my machine is not going to start dropping frames or something. So, all right, here we go. Go. I think it should be much easier now. Yeah, look at that. That was a lot easier. All right, so there's no VI over here, right? There's no vim or VI, so you have to sudo apt install vim. You can just do neovim at that point. Apt install neovim. I think it's neovim, right? What? Oh no. Apt update. Yeah. I know. It's been a while. It's the holiday. Podman workspace. No, it connects automatically. Podman connects automatically to the container when you run it. That's what's happening. Yeah, you can SSH, but you don't need to. You can SSH to the backing VM if you want to. It's pretty cool. So anyway, apt install neovim. Yes. And if you want to pull down your stuff, you can. I mean, how much time we got? Oh, we've got 2 or 3 minutes left here, so let me go try this. See how fast I can do it. Wait, do we have git clone here? Apt install git. If you do this, make sure you don't throw your container away because you'll lose all your work unless you're synchronizing. So, all right. So git add. Wait. Apt is no, that's not gonna work either. I'm just gonna do git clone. I'm gonna use HTTP on purpose, people, because I don't want to have to authenticate. And I'm gonna clone my dot files. Okay, and then I'm gonna cd into my dot files, and I'm gonna /setup. And then I'm gonna say tmuck. I'm gonna say exec bash-l. And now, yay, I have my bash. Okay, so there's my whole environment, and I have Git and GitHub already set up in Vim and everything. So, you could also, if you want to do GH, you can do auth, GH auth login. Okay, so sudo, let's see, apt install GH, and it'll get you the GH tool. GH auth login, enterprise HTTPS, and I'm gonna hit HTTPS, and it's gonna give me some stuff. Give me a second here. It's gonna give me my authentication thing, log in with my web browser. It gives me a token to paste in. Then I go paste the thing in, and I hit enter, and now I can do GH repo clone. Or do it, yeah, GH repo clone, which I'm not going to do right now. And yeah, even if you can see credentials, that is no longer a valid code, just in case you're wondering. And whoops, wrong brew. All right, so then what? Now what? Now you can start writing Go code. So yeah, you can cd into wherever. It doesn't matter because I'm root. Make directory app, cd app, go mod init, go mod init, github.com, rvxrob slash coding from the get go. Yep. And then vi main.go, package main. Now I don't have any of my other stuff here yet. In fact, I could get it. I can do plug install, and that'll install all of my stuff. My Vimgo will get updated. And then we can actually also, in doing that, we can do some other stuff here. So yeah, we need to fix the go run install binaries. So we go install binaries. I'm glad we're doing this because some of you on the terminal are going to need to do these things. This does take a while to run. And this is a good example of doing it. I mean, you'd have to do all of these things on a new system anyway. So I'm just doing them inside of a container because the container has not been set up. It does always take a little while for these things to download and install. But you know, once they're there, you're good to go. It had to be said. It had to be said, my friends. And on that note, we are about ready to be done. So, we are about ready to be done. And you're like, yeah, just in time to be saved from Mr. Rob's puns. So we're going to have a lot of worse puns coming. I'm promising you. Yeah. And we're going to write our first Hello World program and stuff in the next hour. We're actually going to probably finish 2 or 3 activities in the next hour. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video right now. And if you want to continue, you can come back after this. And the next thing we're going to be doing is actually writing our very first program. And I'm going to take about a 5 or 10 minute coffee break, and I'm going to end the video and start uploading right now. All right. Talk to you in a bit.